Lifetime value retargeting turns one-time buyers into people who are continuously shop for your brand forever and become advocates for how amazing your product really is. So this is how to retarget people based on lifetime value rather than one-time purchasing. Now, most businesses, when you're running ads, especially as a small business, you spend a ton of money trying to get first-time customers and almost no money trying to retain the ones you already have and increase their average purchase value. Example of this is a few years ago, I was running ads for a supplement brand and we were obsessed with lowering our cost of acquisition, aka getting more customers for cheaper. Every dollar that we had went toward cold acquisition and we were proud of it, we were growing the business, but we had a problem. Most customers were buying once or twice and then never purchasing again. And that not only meant that it was way harder to grow than it had to be, but also that we were not making nearly as much money as we thought, because once you took into account ad spend, our margins were very thin. Now, lifetime value specifically measures the total amount of money that a customer is going to spend with your brand. There are two ways that you can grow it. You can increase the average purchase size, or you can increase the frequency at which they purchase. Now, some common methods for this are increasing your upsells, increasing your subscription rate, increasing bundles, things. Some common ways to improve this are using upsells, which increase the ticket size of the thing that they're purchasing. For example, if somebody wants to buy a porch, you could also include stain or maintenance. Now, another thing is bundles. You could include things like cleaning supplies, brushes, or things of that nature with your porch. And then finally, subscriptions. Now, things like insurance and maintenance are often good choices when it comes to subscriptions with things like maintenance companies, but for supplement brands and things like that, the subscription is kind of built into the model. So increasing a lifetime value is going to depend on the brand that you are running, but most importantly, it's increase the amount of money they spend all at once or increase it over time by using a subscription. Now, lifetime value retargeting is specifically about the second one. It's increasing the number of purchases that the customer makes over the lifetime of this product. Now, things like Coca-Cola use almost entirely multiple purchases to increase their lifetime value and almost no bundles. Now, a 12-pack is kind of their bundle cap, but you're not going to buy a 500-pack of Pepsis. So just to be clear, this absolutely works. Lifetime value retargeting increases the number of interactions that a person has with your brand. And the best part is every time they purchase something, as long as you give them a good result and as long as you create joy and happiness within their life, then it's going to be easier and easier to convince them to purchase a second time, a third time, a fourth time. Now, the relationship between lifetime value and LTGP, which is lifetime gross profit, is very important. Lifetime value measures your revenue, how much in sales you're getting from that customer, but it doesn't include your profit. If your profit margin is 1%, lifetime value is not a great statistic to use. LTGP is measuring your profit. That means the number of sales minus the cost to deliver it to a customer. It usually does not include your marketing costs, although some people choose to include that. But what I like to do to include marketing costs is say LTGP to CAC, which basically means your net profit over the lifetime of the customer minus the cost to get them to purchase over the lifetime of the customer. CAC is cost of acquired customer. Now, to be clear, over the lifetime of a customer, your CAC is not going to proportionally increase. If it costs you $50 to get the customer to purchase the first time, but then they have an amazing experience, it might only cost you $10, $5, $1, $2 worth of advertising each subsequent time that it costs to get them to purchase again. So let's talk about how that works and how you can leverage that to increase your net results with your advertising. Now, there are two types of retargeting ads. Now, I have made a video on base retargeting, which is trying to get people who have never purchased to actually decide to purchase. And that's really good with awareness ads. But there's another type of retargeting ads, which is targeting previous buyers. Now, past buyers usually have a lot more trust with your brand. Again, assuming that you deliver a good product. Drop shippers, this is not going to be for you. Because of that trust, the question of should they purchase has kind of already been answered. They just need a reason to purchase something else. Now, if you only sell one product, it's going to be hard to get them to purchase again unless that product can run out of stock or run out of use. Again, supplements, shampoo, things like that are going to run out of use over a month, 2 months, 3 months. Then it makes sense for you to retarget them and get them to repurchase. But you could also have a bundle, a new product, a better product, an upgrade, a downgrade that's a little cheaper. There are lots and lots of ways that you can get people to repurchase different products that are in a similar sphere. Now, the best part of meta ads is you can create custom audiences based on purchasers, purchase history, purchase value, purchase type, not purchasing, landing page views, everything you could possibly imagine by using a Excel sheet and just putting in the data of who did what on that sheet and then feeding it to Meta. That means that you can create ads specifically tailored for different product purchases. So there are 3 ways that you can go about doing this. The first is going to be new product information. Someone bought your protein powder 6 months ago and they're ready to buy a new one. The best part is you've launched a brand new flavor. You only had vanilla before, but now you have chocolate. And if you haven't tried the chocolate flavor, you've got to do it now. You can run that as a retargeting ad for people who purchased your vanilla flavor greater than 30 days ago. This means that they're likely to have run out, so they have reason 1 to go, but also maybe they didn't like vanilla very much and they want to try a different flavor. So you can hit them with the chocolate flavor. The second is consumable reminders. And this is very close to that supplement brand. Again, it's just saying, okay, you ran out of vanilla 30 days ago, it's time to get some more vanilla. You don't have to change the product, you don't have to change the offer, you just have to remind them, hey, you're probably running low, you should buy more now. And the third case is use case expansion, which is really, really unique. And this is basically saying there are more ways to use this product. And for example, with hoses, you might have a gardening hose and you might have a hose that you use for sprinklers. And that gives you a reason to have 2 different hoses. Now, most of the time, it's hard to find a secondary use case that justifies a second purchase. But I have a great example. Now, talking a little bit about my personal life, I really like technology, and I have a computer with 3 different monitors. So there are 2 examples of ways that I have spent extra money to effectively get the same product. Now, I use the G6 Samsung monitor. It's about $900 when you buy it brand new, and it's got OLED screening, and I love it. It's absolutely fantastic, and I actually have 3 of them. And that is because I want OLED screening on Discord, on Spotify, on YouTube, on documents, on YouTube editing, on everything I use. I love OLED and it's worth the money for me to purchase it. And so when I was running a retargeting ad and saying, hey, have you already had one OLED screen and you want to buy another one? I bought 2 extra ones. So Best Buy got an extra $1,800 out of me that day by just running a retargeting ad. And there's a second reason. So I already have a computer, I keep it here, I never bring it anywhere else, and I also have 2 different laptops. Now, I got both of these at like Walmart or something. This one was like $300-400, nothing crazy. And then I got this one at Walmart, again, $300-400, nothing crazy. But I use it for different things. So this beefier laptop I use for editing and things like that require a little bit more computing power. And then this little Chromebook I use primarily for writing. So if I know that all I'm going to be doing is article writing on a trip, all I'll bring is the Chromebook. And if I know that I need to be doing video editing and things like that, I'll bring the laptop. Now the Chromebook is lighter, easier to use. Now again, none of that was to flex. It was just saying I bought effectively the same product multiple times for a slightly different use case. And you can get your customers to do that same thing too. Now I want to clarify, when you're running retargeting ads, you want to clarify that this is for people who have already purchased. The reason you want to do that is if they feel that they've already bought your product once and have received all the benefits, then there's no way that they're going to purchase again. You have to tell them that there is a new offer, a continued offer, or a different use case than they already have. That is how you run profitable retargeting advertising. And again, if you want me to do all of this for free, I have a free trial where I will run all of your ads, create all the content, and you don't have to pay anything. And then once it works, once you're getting some nice juicy profits, we split those profits 10 to 15% depending on your previous sales. And then I get that as my pay. No retainers, no upfront costs, and it's all on a free trial basis, so you have no risk involved. If that sounds interesting, all you have to do is go to the first link in the description and check that out.